Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. Man, I am excited about this one to have Miss Sheleah Reed on with us. A great lady doing some awesome things, and I'm truly excited to share her journey and her story with you because it's definitely going to be inspirational and motivational. So first, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with me with the Success Chronicles.
I'm glad I bumped into you that one Saturday morning. I don't know where I was supposed to be, but at that moment, it was the right place.
Isn't it crazy how the big man puts us in places for great things to happen for us?
Always. That's the whole point. You got to go on the journey. It's not your journey, it's his journey.
Come on, I love that. So, well, let's talk about journey. If you don't mind just sharing with the audience, who you are, where you're from, and kind of track your journey till now, where you are and what you're doing.
Sure. So, it's an interesting thing. On the Friday before the break a few weeks ago, I went to this session about leadership. It was women in leadership, and they asked us to define ourselves. And it was like Sheleah Reed, first of many, queen of things, right? And then you have to add in some attributes about yourself. And I thought about that, well, who am I? What am I? And I realized, I'm a suburban kid. I am from Friendswood, Texas. People are like, what? Friendswood, Texas, other side of Houston. Right now I'm on the north side. So the other side, far south. But I'm really a native Houstonian. Both of my parents are from Houston. South Houston, South Side, Cloverland, Texas. And so when you think of me, when I think of myself, I think about being a Houstonian. I love everything about the city, from the food to the music, to how big it is, to how diverse it is, to how literally you could be in one part of the city and never have to go to the other part. So I love that about our city. And in fact, that part of loving the city has really helped me get to where I'm at now. So I am a communicator by trade, but a doer of all things in title and function.
And she laughed when she said that because she really mean that.
That's right. So right now I'm the chief of staff and the chief communications officer. But if we go all the way back, everyone who I've ever told the story to, I tell them that in the second grade, I won a competition, and it was called Houston Proud. And I think it was my first experience in explaining to the world what I loved about Houston, but also my real first opportunity in putting on paper. And now that I look back, I realize that I found excitement, joy, I don't really know the right word, in engaging others, helping them see my story, and also hearing them laugh in certain parts, smile about certain parts. And so as a communicator, a storyteller, that is woven throughout my career. So I graduated from Clearbrook High School. I went on to Prairie View A&M University, the one and only, the best place on earth. And that's right.
Come on.
So I went there, and from there I worked at a credit union doing marketing. It's called Primeway Federal Credit Union, if you know it, but I helped change the name. That's not what it was called before. It was the telephone company's credit union. And so then I went to grad school in Fort Worth, Go Frogs at TCU, and happened to get another credit union job. And I was the salesperson. So I taught people how to sell. And what I realized, selling is all about relationship building and connecting people with what they need. So from there, Hurricane Katrina happened and so many other things. And my family, we had some illness. And so I said, Mom, I'm coming home. And so I moved from Dallas back to Houston and worked at Texas Southern University. It feels like I was a trader for a little while.
I know, it sounds like
that didn't last long. I worked for a company called Princeton Review, which was a test prep company. I traveled all over the Houston area. I learned a lesson then too. I am passionate about culture and community. And so I have been to almost every high school at the time in the Houston area and can tell you that each one of them have their own identity.
Yeah.
So you can be in a school district like Aldine, but Ike is very different than MacArthur.
Yes.
And so if you go to Cy Fair, Cy Lakes and Cy Ridge are two different schools.
Yes.
And I learned that in my journey. Then Prairie View called. And I went and led communications there, and it was like, the dream job. I was there almost 8 years. I did everything you can imagine. I changed the brand. We launched social media back then. I launched a magazine. But really, the reason why it was the greatest job on earth for me at the time is because of the students I met. And some of those students are now my best friends. Quickly left from there, went to HISD. So back to my Houston roots. And was the press secretary there. So I was on TV almost every day dealing with something that we were doing there. Went up to Spring, went back to HISD. And like you said, God said, I need you here. And so I've been in Aldine since 2018.
That's awesome. Such a neat journey.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of things that come up for me as I hear you talk about that. I think having pride in the work.
Yeah.
I think relationships come.
They matter.
I think getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Ooh.
Come on. Taking them to church.
I'm not sure that I've ever been comfortable.
You're right. That's what I said. Like, I'm taking them to church on this one, right? And I think another thing, too, is just personal growth and development.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So like as I hear you talk about your journey, like those are things that came up for me. I think that if you don't work hard at all of those things, like you don't continue to grow in your grind.
Ooh, grow in your grind.
Come on.
I'm gonna have to remember that one because I take notes. Okay, but you're giving me a hard time.
Hey, break it out because I do the same thing.
Grow in your grind.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm gonna come back to that in a minute. But I agree with all those things. None of those jobs were easy for me.
Yeah.
But no one knew that. Because that's the whole point of, in my jobs, I've always been the face of something or the storyteller or the brand builder. And who wants a brand that's broken? Who wants a brand that's tired, right? You want a brand that's happy, that's exciting, that feels like it's a connection, that feels like you can see yourself. And so I just, Facebook has those memories that come up. And there was a memory where one of my students at Prairie View told me, "You are the Olivia Pope of Prairie View." And I sent it to her and was like, "What about this?" And she was like, "I still feel the same way." And I was like, "But I'm not at Prairie View." She's like, "It doesn't matter." So this notion of like fixing things, solving problems, this white cape mentality, I think basically is the visual that I got when you listed all those words. Now, I don't want to be known as the fixer, all those things, but I understand that growing your grind sometimes helps people to see you that way.
I love that. What are 3 things you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
That I'm proud of?
Yeah.
One is I have 2 amazing children, Alden and Anders, and I'm still like, this isn't a checkbox, it's like a continuous thing.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that like I get to be their mom every day is like something I'm always proud of. If I was a real marketer, I would bring you my book out and be like, boom, I wrote a book. But I am proud of that. But I'm not the marketer, right? Yeah. It's called Do You.
The book is called Do You.
It's called Do You.
I'll market that for you.
Thank you.
Hey, let's show her some love. Let's go get that book, Do You.
Yes, Sheleah.com.
Sheleah.com. There we go. There you go.
So I'm proud that I was able to write that book. I think maybe my brother would tell you I've been saying I was going to write a book my whole life. But the fact that I did it, I wrote the first book because once you write one, you got to write 2.
For sure.
So the book. And the third one is that, it's hard. The word shine really, I think, is what people remember me by. And shine is, let me go here for you.
Yeah, come on.
So when I think of the word shine, you think of like the lights or things like that, but it's all of the things. It's like being shiny happy, but it's also being like a light for others, or shining a light in places where it's dark, right? So people can see in it, but also to elevate it. And I think in all the work that I do, I'm trying to elevate and like shine a light on. So it's those three things.
That's good. I almost took my phone out and took notes.
But when you read the book.
Okay. So we all got to get the book so we can get the shine. So we can get the shine.
That's right. Yeah, you'll get it.
Yeah. So just hearing you discuss your journey, hearing you talk about the things that you're proud of, I would consider that to be hugely successful.
Well, I hope so.
So let's hit on success. What is your definition of success?
Freedom. No grind. Not worrying about what people think. It is my hope and my goal every day to be free. And when I mean free, I mean literally you wake up and do what you want to do. Not because you have to, not because you need to, but because you just want to do it that day. Freedom about being okay with who you are. And I think, before I walked in here, I was like, I got to put on some lipstick. Well, I had to go put on lipstick because I know my mom was going to be like, you have on lipstick. Well, I need to be free of that. Right? I want y'all to know I'm sitting here holding my breath because if I lean back, I got a little belly. Right? I want to be free of that. I want to be free. Like you just wake up and you're free. I want to go get on a plane and go towards the ocean and decide maybe I'm going to do some work. But until
if I
want to, I might not want to at that moment. That's free. I'm close. There are things that I don't think about. There are things that I don't worry about because I'm close to free. Maybe lowercase free, but I want to be all capital.
All caps.
Yeah, free.
Yeah. I love that. And it's so true. The description you gave is so good.
I'm a storyteller.
Yeah, I see you. You're good, too.
Thank you.
You're good. No, it's so good. I think, just thinking of that, again, like I talked about, like the grind, like getting to that place. And you talk about, like with the lipstick, like my mom, boy, where you think you going with that on? Like all that. So I get that.
Yeah.
Well, what I want to do now is just throw some words or phrases at you. And if you don't mind, just elaborate kind of on like what comes to mind or to heart when you hear these words.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is quality relationships.
Well, I mean, what immediately came up for me is my husband, because we are friends, right? We have inside jokes. We laugh at people. We laugh at each other, but it is not without like work, right? So if I can measure the relationship I have with other people to him, I think that that's good, right? Now, of course, everybody's not going to be him, but I try to meet people where they are. Yeah. So when we met, well, first off, my husband can walk in any room and he's going to steal your grandma, your mama.
All of them.
He's going to get the hookup. Yeah, he's going to get the hookup. And it's been like that since we met him. Like, since I met him, I remember we went to... in Sunnyside, it's a place called Watkins, and it's just a grocery store, and you go up and you order like salami, hog head cheese, the things y'all eat, not me. And so
y'all,
I remember like, what are you doing over there? Like, why are you still talking to those people? And he was like, she gave me a sample. Well, the sample was this thick. Right, and she had wrapped it up. Yeah. That's because he had built a relationship with them and had like, that lady was connected with him. Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm not him. We have this little small banter that like he can get more than I can get. So there are times we go places to see who's going to come out with the hookup first. When you think about quality relationships, I think about that. Also, he's never met a stranger, ever. I've never met a stranger, but there are times where I like...
You okay with being a
stranger? Yeah. Him, no, not so much.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him.
That's crazy. Well, let's go living and learning.
Well, the alliteration is interesting because we've been doing L's all day in the work that I've been doing. So living, learning, leading, leveraging. But really, living and learning, they could be synonymous, right? If you're not living, you're not learning. If you're not learning, you're not living. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna stick with the L.
Okay.
All right. And I'll warn you before I give you this one. Like, this is the good one, right?
Okay.
Sheleah, this is the good one.
Okay, I got you. It's a good one.
So
I'm gonna think about it.
Yeah. So what I want to give you now is legacy.
I'm pausing only because you told me it was a good one, so I have to pause.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
So legacy. So there's two things here for me. My name is my legacy. So like perhaps Oprah, Beyonce, Jordan, Sheleah. You see, like one word, Cher, Madonna. You know, I think Olajuwon. You know, people that you know by one words. I think the reason why you know them is because they have made a lasting impression on you. So I hope that like people remember me by my name and the work that I've done to give a lasting impression. But then also everything I do is for those two boys. And so Alden and Anders, one day people will know them by their first names only. But there was a gentleman that I interviewed for a job. And unfortunately, he didn't get it. But I gave him some feedback. I asked him to come back and I said, can I give you some feedback? And he said, well, I don't want people to hire me because of my name, because of my mama and because of my daddy. And I said, no, you do want people to hire you because of the work that your mama and daddy did.
Yeah.
But your job is to put weight to what, so they got you in the door, but you put weight on that.
I love that.
And so like as a minority, sometimes we don't always have the privilege or the luxury of like getting into spaces because of our name, because of our family's title or resources. And so for us, it feels kind of like cheating the system when like somebody says, oh, well, I know somebody, and you know, you get there, but that's really somebody worked hard
for that
name to get you in that door. And so your job is to continue that legacy, right? By getting and putting weight and thought and value to that legacy.
That's so good. So true.
Yeah.
Because I can see both sides of that. You know, having being a fourth generation educator and having like great people that have come before me, just trying to live a life where I make them proud.
Yeah, that's all.
You know, but then the flip side of that is like Chip is not them, right? And so like I have to continue my own firsthand experience, if you will.
That's right.
To do my thing, right? Like,
in your way.
In my way, right? So that's what we have to strive to do. And so it shouldn't be any pressures. Just do your thing. The big man has given us all gifts.
That's right. Yeah,
so
and they're needed, which goes back to like, do you. Don't do anybody else.
Yep.
Don't try to be with somebody because you're not going to remember. So just do you.
I love that. So is there anything that you would have wanted me to ask you in this interview that I didn't ask you? I just want to make sure you get an opportunity.
You didn't ask me about what do you do at work every day? You didn't ask, I don't know that I wanted you to ask me that, but people typically ask like, so what's a day like? What's a day in life like?
I'm more into the life.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm into the like I know I think the people that are watching or listening, like, know to be where you are and to do what you're doing, it has taken lots. Yeah. Like to get there. So that's why we hit the journey so that people can see the steps. But yeah, let's go a typical day. Like
there is no typical day, right?
They're brutal.
Yeah. The weeks are brutal. The days are long. The weeks are longer. But there are also like little bright spots. So it's today's Monday only. I don't even know what the rest of the week looks like. I can forecast, but really I try to get through the day. And it's, halfway point of the day, I've had a marathon meeting with my boss. We probably knocked out about 12 different projects, and I have, they're stacked up 1, 2, 3, 4 back to back. But then, tomorrow, I got an email to remind me that tomorrow's a meeting about strategic plan. So it's like the ebbs and flows. In that same meeting, during the meeting, I took a little pause and had a brief interview with someone. So it's about like being in the moment when you can, but also like compartmentalizing the work because it has to continue. The other thing about my day is like making sure that the leaders that I support those who report to me or those who sit next to me, that they're empowered. And so I try to move myself out the way so that the decisions can be made.
And I'm gonna say this on air, like I told you this when I met you, but I want to make sure I say this on air because I believe this, right? And so I think what you all are doing here in this district is amazing.
Thank you.
Like you're the model. And I just like to say it because I know, like we talked about, I know, like I've been in education, and so like what you guys are doing, the work that you're doing, the leadership, the relationships, the quality of what you're giving the people, the kids, the people, the staff, top to bottom, what you're doing here, I think it's amazing, and I think that the district is truly blessed to have leaders of your caliber in this district.
Oh, thank you for that. You don't always hear it that way.
Yeah.
I think you feel it sometimes, but you don't always hear it like that. So thank you for that. I think I will say this. We have I think there's 12 of us on the leadership team, all with chiefs in our titles, but leaders are throughout the district, right? And we all do our very best to support the vision that Dr. Goffney has, LaTanya Goffney has. And some days that's challenging, right? Because it's big and it seems massive. But when a student succeeds, or when they're excited, or, when a coach makes a play, or, when there's a mural coming up or somebody wins an award, those big, audacious dreams don't seem so big and audacious anymore. They seem very personal and like focused. So thank you for saying it that way, but it's also something that I think we need to do a better job of reminding ourselves.
Well, as we close, I'd love for you to get an opportunity to share with the audience where they can go follow you, check you out, show you some love with all of the amazing things you have going on.
So I'm going to look at the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. So personal, it's Sheleah.com, SHELEAH.com. And I'm only one, ONLY, one Sheleah on all social media. Twitter, or X, whatever it's called these days. There's some work there, but mostly Facebook and Instagram. Also on LinkedIn in the same way. But for the work that we do every day, the things that he talked about, is aldeanisd.org. So just put in any of your search engines and it's Aldine ISD.
Well, there it is. Again, I want to say thank you so much.
Thank you
for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles. And thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless.
Go get it.